I don't. We'll take from the Nation newspaper. Experts, economists, worst times of reform. Spain's over manufacturing has stabilized. All right, gains begin to reach average Nigerians. The story is on front page of the Nation newspaper. All right, on page 3, Ibadan stands still for Ladoja's coronation as 44th monarch. All right, Edo secures $250 million investment at Gaslow Smith. And on page 7, Amcon sells 34% stake in Unity Commercial Bank. All right, and we'll go to other story. DHQ, 147 terrorists arrested, dozens killed, 41 kidnapped victims rescued. Baru Ganduje others set up plans to displace NPP in Kano. All right, we'll take all the stories there this morning. Expert economists, worst times of reform pain is over. Right on page 3, you have a Ferry Joint Commission conveying 2-day stakeholders dialogue. 3 children, 4 dead in father's car booth in Maiduguri. That story is also there. Right, we also have contractor yet to buy into concrete road policy. Federal government seek World Bank support for renewed Hope World Development Program. Tinubu's government renew boom ushers in new dawn for Nigeria, says APC. All right, you also have on page 6, Benue State holds 2-day training on Nigeria Tax Reform Act 2025. All right, we go to some other stories there. Of course, celebrating the Olubadan, you also have various greetings there. All right, let's come to the entertainment page. Tayo Kunga's love for precautions made him a star. You have other stories there this morning. Our K1 Inspire Wasiu Arena Ishola, L1's masterpiece album. Arrive Vision Film Academy debut in Abuja. Sabrina releases freely. I'm fascinated by Davido's work ethics, says the J. Kuzi Niger. All right, nice resurface with Olodumare hits at new album. All right, and you also have another challenge for Adebola Dosmu. Sheyi Tinubu honored with inspiring youth ambassador. That story is also there. All right, Aladoja, a long walk to Ibadan throne. And of course, 2027 Kwara APC leaders endorse Tinubu for re-election. A new era begins in Ibadan. All right, FBRA champion action to mark 2025 World Cleanup Day. And of course, you have other stories on that page. On page 28, Pueblo secures 250 million investment. Governor Oyebanji, my administration has positively impacted Ekiti communities. All right, I will take other stories on page 33. 16 newly promoted senior NRS and SCDC COS FFS officers wear new ranks. All right, 2027 Southwest Group backs Olawekbo Hasim, alleged breach of FCCPC Act, Quarter Johns. All right, we'll go to some other stories there. And of course, that's as much as we'll be taking this morning from the Nation newspaper. All right, we'll go on a break. And when we come back, we're going to be taking our interview segment. Of course, before then, you get the weather report. Stay with us. Don't go away. AM120 continues shortly. Welcome back. It's, of course, a beautiful one this morning, and we're in the interview segment, so we'd like to welcome you once again. This morning, we'll be looking at coronation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. And, of course, to look at the conversation this morning, we have a guest with us in the studio. He is Chief Sulaiman Ajeniyi Ajewole. He is the President General of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, CCII, and Are Atolushe of Ibadan land. You're welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you so much, presenter, and good morning, viewers.
All right, let me start by saying that all roads will converge on the historic Makbo Hall, the venue of the epoch-making coronation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. The coronation is fully set, and of course, roll calls of Nigeria's creme de la creme. The event is expected to surpass any Olubadan history, with dignitaries led by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, who has confirmed his attendance in honor of his friend. Also expected, a former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, governors, ex-governors, former ministers, traditional rulers, captains of industry, and other prominent personality. Governor Oluseyi Makinde will play host to distinguished guests at what is already being described as the most glamorous and widely attended Olubadan coronation in the history of Oyo State and Ibadan. The coronation marks the continuation of Ibadan centuries-old succession tradition, widely regarded as one of the most orderly and rancor-free system in Yoruba land. Let me quickly go to you, sir. I'm sure you're impressed with what I have read about this coronation.
Thank you so much.
Now,
you have really demonstrated that you understand what Ibadan is. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome, sir. Now, let's quickly go straight to the conversation. Today's coronation.
Yes.
You have seen many coronations.
Yes.
How would you describe this one?
Well, it will be very difficult to use words to describe the coronation of the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, His Imperial Majesty, His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. But let me say, in one word, that the coronation is unique in the recent history of Ibadan land. Unique in many sense. Unique in the sense that hitherto we used to have 1 or 2 days program for the coronation of Olubadan. But for this one, we are having about 8 days.
Wow.
We started 22nd of September, that is last Monday, with what we call interreligious prayer, in which all the 3 major religions were there to offer prayer for the week and for the coronation. Our Christian fathers were there, our Muslim Afars, Imam, they were there, as well as the Unisesi people. Praise God. You know, we invited Muslim musician, Christian musician, Unisesi musician. It's a place to behold last Monday at the Olubadan Palace. It's about the people that really think of having a unique coronation. Then on Tuesday, we did what we call it a cultural day, where a lot of cultural things happened at Olubadan Stadium. You have masquerades, various masquerades of Ibadan. Atikako was there, Alakpansakwa was there, Abidelege was there, and even some people who are not of Ibadan stock brought their tradition in there. The Igbo people were there. The South people, I think it's not the Africa or the Romans, they were there. And we also made sure that we produce delicacies that are very local and native to Ibadan land, which many of our young people may not even know. There is what the akara was made there for people to eat. Seke was there, it was made. Kengbe was there. Dudu Anewa was there. Egbu Anewa was there. If you were there on that day, it was fantastic. Even the Igunuko from Nupes, they were there to perform. It was. Then on Wednesday, we said, no, we want to hear about some historical perspective of Ibadan land. And at the International Conference or UI, that renowned historian, Professor Falola, Toyi Falola, who was, if not the best, one of the best in the whole of Africa, and one of the most cited historians, was at the International Conference to give lecture on the Ibadan land. The place was so full with a lot of people, and the lecture was, first-class lecture. In fact, when he started, he said, he is here to say what he has never said before. Wow. No, the place was great. Then on Thursday, incidentally, Thursday 24th was the birthday of Kabiyesi. It was 81 yesterday. So the Christian did praise worship at Civil Center, Diakwe. We had Christian musicians like Ya Bola Are and others performed. And at the same time, we were doing our home prayer at Ibadan House, Bodiama House, Ibadan, where you have scores of imams led by the chief imam of Ibadan land, Babawa Agbotomo led them. There were over 40 affairs there to give prayer. So that one, to wish our Kabiyesi long life and prosperity, and to pray that his coronation will be of blessing to Ibadan land. I must tell you, that program, the Muslim program, was singly sponsored by the Are Muslimi of Ibadan land, who is also the Are of Ibadan land, Didamak, Babawa. His nickname used to, that is Didamak. I will remember his name very soon. He single-handedly sponsored that program. Wow. And we have over 2,000 people in attendance yesterday. So that is one of the uniqueness of the coronation of the Olubadan of Ibadan. Let me finish. Today is Government Day. We will receive, yes, the Government Day. We will receive, our cabinet will receive the crown from the traditional kingmakers, and our great governor, engineer Seyi, who is also a very proud Ibadan son, a very committed Ibadan son, we hand over the staff of office to Oba. Then from there, we'll go to Liberty Stadium for the session. But that is not the end of the coronation program. On Sunday, Ibadan people also organized a civil reception at International Conference, UI. And also there will be Christian Thanksgiving at Catholic Church. Then the following Friday, our cabinet will now go to the Juma service at the mosque at Ojaba for a special Juma service to give thanks to God for the coronation. On Saturday, there will be Thanksgiving at Osemeji Temple. So these are the I must now say that all this were packaged up by Ibadan people themselves because they believe that Oba Lasidi Ladoja is worthy of celebration, is worthy of being promoted because we believe in him. It's an Olubadan the whole of Ibadan are really waiting for.
Now, Chief, thank you very much for all those, words and everything. The Oba, the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, is one who has been revered so much, and there's been so much fanfare, surrounding this coronation week. Let's call it that now. Now, we're looking at several things entwined into one. Some people call him the Afobaje Todoba. Some people also say the man who has persevered, who walked through with the garment of patience on him to get to that position. His journey has been quite filled with landmarks. Now, what traditional, cultural significance does this have for the people of Ibadan? His ascendancy to that throne? What traditional and cultural, because we can drum all we want, we can sing all we want, but then there are some unique things also that stand out culturally and traditionally about this.
Well, let me say this. You say the culture and tradition of Ibadan is not, shrouded in any secrecy or it's very clear. You understand the way our forefathers set up the issue of ascendancy to the post of Olubadan. You become a Magaji in your compound, then you struggle to go into the two steps of ladder to become Olubadan. What are the two sides? The Otu Olubadan side, which we call the civil side, and the Balogun side, which is the military side. So, and once you enter either of the two sides, either Jagun Olubadan of Ibadan land or Jagun Balogun of Ibadan land, then the whole thing is in the hands of God. You continue to climb, and if God says you become Olubadan one day, you become it. When you now talk of Oba Lasidi Ladoja, I think what people are saying is that one, for example, there was this issue of whether he will receive crown as when he was a chief. You see, the Olubadan Advisory Council is made up of the Olubadan and 11 others.
All right, Chief, before we delve very deeply into that, we have some commercials to pay, and we'll be right back after this.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
For sticking around with us. We are still talking about the coronation, the grand coronation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja as a fourth Olubadan of Ibadan land. And we were talking about the traditional and cultural significance where you were alluding to about 4 years ago when it was chief.
In fact, the issue started far beyond 4 years ago. You see, like I was saying, the Olubadan Advisory Council comprises of 11 members. That is the Otun Olubadan, Osi Olubadan, Asipa Olubadan, and Ekeni Olubadan. On one side, then the Balogun of Ibadan land Ọ̀tún Balógun, Òsì Balógun, Asípa Balógun, Ẹ̀kẹrin Balógun, and Ẹ̀karùn Balógun, with the Yalode making the last number. So when these things start, and they were called high chiefs, but during the time of our late amiable governor, Ajimabi, he introduced this idea that all these high chiefs must also wear crown. Though the aim was to make it aesthetic crown, so that when the Yoruba is going, we also have some Oba that will wear crown. But Ibadan people did not take it like that. Especially the then Yoruba of Ibadan land, Oba Soliu, Akamu, Adetuji, Adeogunnisowa. And one of those who do not also support the idea is the current, the Yoruba that will be installed today, Oba Rasidi Ladoja. There was a fierce war then. At the end of the day, he went to court. Oba Ladoja went to court. And at the end of the day, the court adjudged him right. Judgment was given to him. That led to a lot of things that all this about that have been installed, given crown by the then governor, has to be, all the gazette was set aside by the court. A lot of legal battle followed up until the coming of our present governor. So when our present governor, Simakide, came in, he stood by the judgment of the court. He said he will not flout the judgment of the court, that all those Obas should return to the position of high chiefs, which they did. And in fact, that was what paved way to the installation of our great Oba Senator Lekan Balogun. So, but in his wisdom also, the state government, amended the chieftaincy law. And after some amendment, which gave the governor the right to crown anybody without any consultation with anybody. He now revived the idea because all the high chiefs, including the then Olubadan, supported the idea, except His Excellency Oba Rasidi Ladoja, who still stood his ground that no, what everybody should wear is Olubadan crown and not or to Olubadan, Olubadan, Balogun crown. But we saw this as a crisis. We all, Ibadan people, elders, went into the matter. And because Ibadan is a unique city, we have a way of resolving our matter without any outside people knowing about it. We were able to resolve it. And Oba Rasidi Ladoja saw the reason where he also has to wear the crown as Otun Olubadan of the land. And he gladly received that crown sometime last year, during the time of Oba Olakuleyin. And today, because that will have been a stumbling block, we will have run into serious crisis now if he did not accept to wear the crown as the Olubadan. So we thank God, the matter was resolved. And here today, so these cultural significances is that we must know that culture itself is dynamic. I want to. Culture is dynamic. What is good culturally today may not be tomorrow. And Iban is moving forward in good tradition and in good culture.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
want to sincerely appreciate you. However, I want to quickly say, every journey to the Olubadan throne begins with becoming a Mogaji,
Yes.
the head of the extended family compound
Yes.
for Ladoja. This came in the 1980s
Yes.
when he was installed as the Mogaji of the Ladoja family of Arusa,
Arusa.
compound,
Yes.
Isaleusi,
Yes.
Ibadan.
Yes.
Ladoja became Jagun Olubadan.
Yes.
On October 1st, 1993, he was installed by the famous Olubadan, Ashanike,
Yes, you are right.
after his promotion to Jagun Olubadan,
Yes.
the very first rung on the Egbe Agba line,
Yes.
which marked his formal entry into the chieftaincy hierarchy.
Yes. That is what I call the civil side. Egbeagba, or Tolban side. That is the civil side of the two rungs.
And on and on, he graduated to
Yes.
the position of Olubadan.
Yes.
Now, there's something special, divine, historical about the imperial majesty, the Olubadan of Ibadan land. He was a former governor,
Yes.
a distinguished senator of the Federal
That is
Republic
true.
of
Yes.
Nigeria,
Yes.
an engineer par excellence, and of course, he assumed the throne. Have you ever seen someone in the line of the Olubadan, or that, no, don't let me say line, that assumed the position of Olubadan, and that has this much, in his ability and capability? Is there anyone that has ever had this CV or profile?
You see, each of the past Olubadan has their unique features, and they have their unique achievements that made all of them great. For example, you mentioned about Sanike. About Sanike probably was not lettered, but he was one of the best person that has what they call native intelligence. If you are there at this time, you know that the man is, So, and there are many others. Oba Kibi was a former parliamentarian, while Oba Dugade was also a former parliamentarian. Oba, this Ababa from Jebu, Operidi was a former military, one of those who fought during the Second World War. So each of them have their own unique achievement that made them great. But when you talk of Oba Rasidi Ladoja, like you said, not only Olubadan's case, in the whole of Yoruba land, even the whole of Nigeria, I've not known any Oba that was a former governor. That makes him unique.
And that's historical for your
It's very
state and
historical. Yes, he is the first former governor that becomes an Oba. I know of judges who have become, but when you call former governor,
and a former senator,
and
an engineer,
when you say Oba Aziz is an engineer, he is an industrialist by excellence. So
let's quickly look at his love for Ankara. Even you could see that in some of his pictures, the coronation pictures, he still wore his Ankara.
Yes.
And you see that he's so simple, humble to a fault. He's a loving man, very understanding. He draws people close to himself. But let's talk about this Ankara everything. What's the significance behind it?
Well, I think, to the best of my knowledge, he's the only person that can give that. But everybody knows he loves Ankara. In fact, either by truth or not, I learned he has an industry. He has a company that produces Ankara.
And that tells us that he's doing proudly Nigeria.
When you sit with Oba Rasidi Ladoja, just for 10 minutes, you will immediately notice his love for Ibadan land, his love as a Yoruba man, and his love for Nigeria as a whole. Because he will not discuss any personal thing with you, but discuss societal matters. He's so loved by the land that over 20 years ago, when he was still very young as a chief, he had been thinking of what can be done to preserve the institution of Olubana. How Olubana institution can be so, even so financed without interference of anybody. So he wants a situation where the palace, the Olubana palace, will not depend on anybody, to finance it.
Which is an area where people are eager to see now.
Yes.
We know that, like you mentioned, he's an industrialist par excellence.
Yes.
And he has done his bits in his own stride when he was governor
Yes.
of the state,
Yes.
despite the hiccups that he had back then. We also know that the present governor is one who is always looking forward to the development of the state.
That is true.
So people are now asking, are we sure there won't be a clash of, okay, we want to adjust this thing, we want to address this thing. Do you think that there will be any moments where there will be,
There can be. Efforts of Oba Rashid Ladoja and that of our governor, Semakide, will complement each other. They are not rivals in any way. I must tell you, and I'm saying it again, I've said it in many fora, that Semakide singularly assisted me and the Central Council of Indigenous to complete the new palace. That is now,
And he never knew it was going to be Olubadan very soon.
No, I'm talking of Seyi Makinde.
Oh, you mean, okay.
Or
okay.
the governor.
Oh, okay.
The governor.
Beautiful.
Singularly assisted me and the CCI to complete the affair by the land, which we call the Olubana Palace, which is now a pride for every Ibadan.
Now let's look at the...
So their efforts will complement each other. There can be area of conflict in any way.
Let's look at the role of CCI.
Okay.
CCI has also become an institution.
We thank God.
In Ibadan land and in Oyo State and across the country. But in the Olubadan reign, what role do CCI play at every point in time?
You see, the Central Council of Indigenous.
Before you go on, sir, could you allow us to take this commercial? We need to pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point.
Money points, thank you.
Customer, na transfer, abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer. Na money point, oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land at Sure Banker. Progress na small win wey dey carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Mo go buy ball.
Victor, even you, they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Money Point, made for your progress.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Before we went on that break, we were gradually talking about the role of CCI, of course, in the...
See, we thank God for the life of the founding fathers of Central Council of Badeni. When early 1980s, they decided to invite clubs that are of Ibadan, completely Ibadan native clubs, social clubs, to form what they call the Central Council of Badeni, which is now the umbrella of all Ibadan socio-cultural clubs all over the world. Yes. For years, Central Council of Engineers have become one of the major voice of Ibadan land. Incidentally, our traditional ruler, that is the Olubadan Council, the Magajis, and the Bale, they love it and they accepted it. In fact, the man we are celebrating today, Obalasin Ladoja, anytime you see the President General of Central Council, he will say, Oga Gogowa, to show the interest they have in Central Council by the indigenous. You say, Oga Gogowa, that is him. And that is the position of all others. Once someone like His Excellency Obalasin can say, Oga Gogowa for President General, what with other ballets and Magadi say? Even all, we have many of us because Ibadan's mother is city. It's a mega city with about 27 other cities. We have over 100 towns and over 1,000 villages in Ibadan land. So all these towns that Asaba also, they have a lot of respect for the Central Council of Ibadan. Everybody accepts that the CCI is the mega voice of Ibadan City. Because the idea, you see, the major thing Central Council of Ibadan is holding at hand is the protection of the institution of Olubadan. That is the fundamental thing CCI is holding, the protection of the institution of Olubadan.
Now, I noticed that you said Ibadan City numerous times.
Yes.
And recently we have heard the clamor for Ibadan State.
Thank you very much.
Now, is it high on the agenda of the CCII? Will it be pushed to the table of the Olubadan once it's settled on the throne? Now, these are questions that people want to know.
Thank you very much. If you have been following events on the issue of creation of Ibadan State, for years, since the time of the President General Babo Yero, Mustafa Yero, we have been demanding even from the time of Baba Bodiamao, they have started asking for the creation of Ibadan State. And during my own time, the thing has gone even far higher. We made presentation to the House of Representatives. We made presentation to the House of Senate. We wrote a memo. In fact, last Monday, this 22nd of September, I was in Abuja to present the memorandum for creation of Ibadan State to the House of Representatives. And like I said there, definitely, if only one state will be created by this administration, it will be the Ibadan State.
Okay, so let's take it this way. The president is going to be here today.
He's going, and let me tell you further, even the Olubadan, Kabiyesi Ladoja, that was his first project, the creation. And you will see what he will tell
exactly where I'm going. So is that going to be a message?
No, it will be a message to
that the sons and daughters of Ibadan would ask the president to take back home, to give us Ibadan State.
Yeah, that is the first thing and the major thing that Ibadan will tell His Excellency, the president of
now
that we want Ibadan State.
Now, in craving for Ibadan State, what comes to mind? What are Ibadan sons and daughters looking out for when we're asking for Ibadan State?
Let me tell you, When I was at Abuja last Monday, I did mention it. When Nigeria have three regions, the northern region, the eastern region, the western region, Kaduna was the capital of northern region. Enugu was the capital of eastern region. Ibadan was the capital of a western region.
So we should have Ibadan State.
Enugu is already a state. Kaduna is already a state. Only Ibadan.
Okay.
And we have all the resources, both human and material resources.
Okay, don't worry. We agree with you. We agree with you, and we hope that Nigerians will also see from that perspective.
They will see from that angle.
All right, we need to go on a break. And when we come back, we're going to strengthen more and see how we bring Ibadan State into existence. Don't go away. Stay with us.
Okay.
On the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. Of course, we're still discussing the coronation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladaja as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. And of course, before we went on this short break, I was asking, of course, Baba, Chief Sulaiman Ajeniyi Ajewole, to tell us what should we look out for while we're asking for Ibadan State.
Yes. I said Ibadan State is quite overdue. Historically, when Nigeria has three regions, the northern region, the eastern region, the western region, Kaduna was the capital of northern region. Enugu was the capital of eastern region. Ibadan was the capital of western region. All these other two, they are already states, except Ibadan. And what is more, Ibadan has all the resources, both materials and human, to become a state. We are presenting a case. Ibadan are people from Ibarapa. By God's grace, we form what we call Ibadan State.
Fantastic. As we call it a wrap on the program this morning, of course, we want to invite forward eminent members of CCII. That's a Central Council of Ibadan. Indigene CCII, the Executive Council members are here present, and we want to especially welcome them as they sing the Ibadan anthem for us, as they sing the Ibadan anthem.
Yeah.
We also have to join you.
Ibadan ìlú orí òkè ìlú ìbùkún Olúwa
ṣe ọ́ ní ìbùkún fún onílé àtàlejò.
Ìlú Ìbàdàn ó dára ó lẹ́wà ìlú tó tóbi kò sí ibikíbi tí mo lè wà lórílẹ̀ ayé tí mo lè gbàgbé ìlú Ìbàdàn. Ẹ bá ń gbọ́ mọ òkè. Láńtí láńtí. Ẹ bá ń gbọ́ mọ òkè. Láńtí láńtí. Ẹ bá ń gbọ́ mọ òkè. Láńtí láńtí. Ọmọ òkè dùn ún bí. Bábílónì àrìlọ́lá ọlọ́mọ kúlùmbù.
Thank you very much. We want to sincerely appreciate you as we roll out the names of the executive members to appreciate them for coming on the program. Victor.
Well, the CCI Exco members present here are led by Chief Sulaiman Ajeniyi Ajiwole, the President General, and the Are Atunushi of Ibadan Land. We also have here Comrade Sunday Amowu, the second Vice President General, and we have Mr. Sulaiman Iyanda Raufu, second Assistant Secretary General. We also have Mr. Olumuyiwa Oyashogo, the Financial Secretary. Prince Caleb Akande, the Treasurer of the CCII. We have Mr. Oyewale Oyerinde, the Auditor. Alaja Folashade Olayiwola, the Social Secretary.
She's looking gorgeous.
Yeah, very gorgeous.
And she's so social.
We also have Alaja Muinat Olowokere, the Chief Whip. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we have the PRO.
Yes, Mr. Kola Olamide. Olomide, beg your pardon, Mr. Kola Olomide, the PRO of the Ibadan CCII. So thank you all very much for coming right here this morning.
On behalf of our producers and crew members, we want to sincerely appreciate you for coming on the program this morning. Thank you very much. As we call it, of course, a wrap in this segment, we'll be going on a break. And when we come back, of course, our second guest is waiting. Stay with us on AM120.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Of course, we're still in the interview segment, and like we told you, our second guest is here with us. He is Honorable Abiodun Awoleye, and of course, is a former member, House of Representative, one of the most popular Ibadan son. Of course, as the former member of the House of Representative, he represented Ibadan North Federal Constituency. You can only be very popular, notable, respectable to represent Ibadan North in Ibadan and Oyo State. You're welcome this morning to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we've been talking about the coronation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land. And a lot has been said. Today is the D-Day, the day he will be crowned as the 44th Olubadan. This is a position that he's been looking up to, aspiring for in the last 32 years. You have known him for several years as one of the sons of Ibadan land. How would you describe the new Olubadan?
Well, like you said, he joined the line about 32 years ago. Maybe in a few days' time it will be 32 years that he joined. And I'm one of the privileged few that witnessed that day.
Wow.
I was at his Arusa compound in the Salusi, Bonfoto area, because I happen to be a very close friend of the family, even though I was a very young boy then.
Can you imagine?
It's really very interesting for you to be there that day when he joined the line, and now that he's ascended the throne.
Wow.
It's a privileged opportunity because I've not, for any of those other Olubadans in the past, I've not been opportune to witness such.
Okay,
So,
let me quickly take you on from there. So when you saw him being, brought up as the mortgagee and on the line, the first step, what came to your mind? What was the atmosphere on that day like in his compound?
everybody was happy. Usually in Ibadan land, any compound that has not actually witnessed that opportunity of any member of the compound being an Olubadan, the ecstasy, the atmosphere is usually very joyous. Everybody's happy. That's a potential Olubadan in the making. So that day, I could remember vividly the sounds of drums rending the air. Everybody was just too happy that at least they have their magaji joining that line, and there's an indication then that it will become Olubadan, which he is becoming today. Now that's why taking the title Arusa One. That shows you have not had any
from his
compound. That's what it means. So, because not everybody, every magaji that joins that 23rd position have that privilege of eventually becoming an Olubadan. So, for him to have become one, I'm sure the family, the compound, will be happier today that they are now having somebody coming from their compound becoming an Olubadan. Ever since he was announced as the Olubadan designate, I've been referring to the sons and daughters as princes and princesses. So, and they're happy with that. Everybody wants that title. Even if your father is not directly the Olubadan, you are just a member of that
royal
compound.
family.
Because that is the way the Ibadan ascendancy has been structured. You all are protected from that kind of aura that is covering you as even a member of that compound. So I think I'm happy for him. And like the other question you asked, what attracted me most to this man is his simplistic nature. Like you said, the Ankara thing that he
Top
wears.
notch.
On a lighter note, were you inspired by his Ankara style to wear this today?
Yeah, I was. This is one of the uniforms. As for today, both the cap and the
So the inspiration came to celebrate the man.
Yes,
the
it
Ankara style.
is. Yes, you see, when you see somebody that's as brilliant as him, an engineer, just yes, he had a scholarship to read to study over abroad.
Belgium.
I mean, when he came back, he didn't start wearing all these suits and all that. He still believes his tradition. He has not forgotten that. He continues to promote the culture and the tradition. You know, very brilliant man. So you still see him going most of the time in this Ankara. Very simple man, even very wealthy. Doesn't look at buying very expensive clothes to wear. You know, he's a businessman. He believes only in empowering others, elevating others to become somebody in life. So this is part of what attracted me to him. And that actually came at the time when he actually, I think he was a senator then. Because I could remember MK Abiola also came to that when he joined the line. So all these things, when you see somebody making such progress, and that was one of the things that was giving me to politics too. So I was taught, even though we have never been in the same political party, but I've always been studying him. I mean, the way, you know, everybody, we want to create a niche for yourself too. So
he's your mentor?
Indirectly. I've been to him a couple of times. We have talked, but the way he does this, you will know that this Ibadan thing is very paramount to him. Anything Ibadan is paramount to him. If you go to him and you go to him on Ibadan matter, you can be sure the answer you want, anything you want to get, you will get from him. No other thing. He's always interested in Ibadan matter and politics, because he's also into politics. He can advise you on what to do in politics. Even if I remember sometimes ago, he even invited me to probably contest for a governorship of the state. But for one reason or the other, which I will not relate now.
Best known to you.
Personal to me. I said, oh God, it's not yet time for that. So he is my mentor indirectly, because even when you don't seek for advice, he gives you advice. Because he takes you as a son.
I'm lost somewhere. You said he invited you and advised you to contest governorship in your state.
I went to him actually for some other thing.
And then he raised it.
Yes.
One would have thought that he would be aspiring for his own children to be, I mean, like any other person, rather than giving someone else an advice of such magnitude.
He's not really that type of person. I'm not sure I know any of his children in politics today. Maybe it's one or two of his younger brother. They are in politics with us. But any of his children, I'm not sure I know of one. You know, this thing has to do with interest. Maybe none of the children has interest in going for politics. Maybe, I wouldn't know.
We have seen people whose children are not interested and they force them into politics just to hold the power.
You are very correct. Even if they are not, they will force them, they will make sure they tutor them in a way, make sure they follow that trajectory. I'm not sure I know of any of his children. You know, maybe his siblings.
Now, everywhere is, you know, lively, fun. Today, as it becomes, you know, he'll be given a staff of office and crowned, the Olubadan of Ibadan land, the 44th. Now, what are the expectations? What are those things you think people should expect from him as he assumes office?
Yeah, even before he assumes office, he has been, having been a former governor, and he has, of course, held positions of leadership in the past. He knows when you are assuming such an office, you need to have your program, what I will probably say blueprint. He has been doling out what people should expect from him as the monarch of this great town of Ibadan. Part of which, for instance, is what he has fought to fight this issue of land grabbing. He has sent signals to those land grabbers. Apart from the fact that Oyo State government has a committee or an agency for that, for anybody that is going into land grabbing, that the long arm of the law will catch up with you. He's also collaborating with that. He has made pronouncements. He has sent that signal to those land grabbers. Probably what he has seen over the years, even when he has been a high chief, he has seen a lot of that. I could remember that I personally have gone to him to report somebody who I will not mention concerning these land grabbing cases. That person was always assumed to be close to him in a way, and said he didn't want to really intervene, because when you don't really have that authority to intervene in such a situation, and these land grabbers, if you know the way they are. So these are some of the things to expect. People you can be sure that if you are buying a land, if it's genuine, you buy your land genuinely, that land grabbers will not come your way, because this will be part of what probably he will be settling or sorting out, even as the monarch of this town.
Now, Honorable, everyone must come to speak about the Arusa one. I've always spoken in similar lines about him as being a true Ibadan son. We know his background, we know how rich it is, and we have seen the portfolio. Now, as a true Ibadan son, aside dealing with the issue of land grabbing, what are your expectations on industrialization? Because people have labeled him an industrialist par excellence. What do you see him doing? Because people have looked at Ibadan as a very big commercial hub. Aside that, how do we thrive culturally, tourism-wise? All the things that we have seen about Ibadan, those glamorous things, those historical facts, artifacts about Ibadan, how do they come to the fore now, given that he is now the man who is ascending to the throne?
Yeah, before I go to talk about what we are likely to see concerning culture and tourism, let me just briefly talk about this industrialization too. Remember, he mooted this idea of circular road when he was the governor of Oyo State, which, by God's grace, our governor now, Governor Seyi Makinde, is actualizing the circular road. What that means is that his vision then was create that road and have industries along the corridors. Now, with that circular road now today, you see a lot of places are being opened up along the circular road. Residential industries will now move in when the roads are completed, when the segments are completed. So it shows the kind of person he is, an engineer, an industrialist, somebody who always wants progress and development of Ibadan, and even Oyo State generally then. Now, to talk of culture, we have talked about it. Why must all of us continue to be on all these English dresses all the time? Why must, if you know him, we discovered that he doesn't even eat all this foreign food most of the time. He eats the typical amala and vegetable, kwa and akara, and all that. To know this is what he has grown up with, and he still continues with that. Now, I can see that's what, at his age now, 81, I would say that's part of what has given him that
longevity.
The longevity. You can see him still very agile. So one of the one of our Olubada that we are that age and we look that in good form. So I want to believe that will be one of his areas that he will also concentrate on. That tradition, that custom, tourism, it will be one of. And let me tell you, whether industrialization, whether tourism, in all these areas, he has always been advising even those successors after him as governors. He had always advised them on what to do. I mean, yes, he has left as governor. If you are opportunity to be the governor today, he always gives out pieces of advice on how you can run the state, what he believes to be done to make Oyo State progress, to make Ibadan as a city, to make Ibadan develop the more. So he has been doing that, and now that he's now the Imperial Majesty, I'm sure he will now be again in that vantage position to offer such pieces of advice the more. So that's the kind of person I see.
Honorable, you have been in politics for a while, a similar background with the Oba, and a lot of people want to hear from your own mouth now as a politician. How high on the agenda do you think the creation of Ibadan State is for the incoming Oba, Kabiyesi?
Yeah, it's not only for the incoming Oba, it's for all of us. I know we have been on this for a long time. Even when I was in the State Assembly, in the House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly, we have always gone to Abuja to support the creation of Ibadan State. Unfortunately, we have not actualized it. Ibadan State is what every well-meaning Ibadan son or daughter should look forward to having, for reasons known to everybody in Nigeria. As of today, the Ibadan, even if we are not including Barapa, we discovered that Ibadan State, if created today, will be, in terms of population, in terms of landmass, will be greater than about 12 states in Nigeria today. So that means it's long overdue to have Ibadan State. So I'm sure Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja is always fondly called Ari by his family members, by his siblings anyway. He's always called Ari Rashidi Adewolu. Oba Rashidi Adewolu will be one of the leading forces to see that we have Ibadan State, even in his tenure as
especially with
Ibadan.
Abuja coming to Ibadan.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure. I'm even expecting. I'm not preempting him. I'm expecting that could be part of his acceptance speech that he will have to say to the ears of Mr. President today that making the creation of Ibadan city possible. I'm just thinking, as a politician, he may likely move that idea in at today's gathering, which will probably gain momentum. So apart from the fact that because I know it's always very difficult to that idea to scale to, because Ogun State wants creation of Ijebu and that one wants, but if you look at it genuinely, in the whole of Southwest, which state should actually be created, which state should be split into two, is Oyo State. Even as we had the Osun State created from the whole Oyo State, we still have the present Oyo State, we can still have Ibadan State from there. So I won't be surprised if such is said to the ears of Mr. President today, to see, because that will go a long way to actually actualizing such a dream.
Okay, let's look at the lineup of programs that has been on since Saturday. I want to say since Saturday last week, where they started with a press conference, and then we'll be ending, next Friday or Saturday with the traditional Thanksgiving. Have we ever seen a coronation like this before.
This glamorous.
Yes, in your state, you could see everywhere. I could barely, get pages of the newspaper to read this morning. It was full of, congratulatory messages to the 44th Olubadan, His Imperial Majesty. So, have you ever had it this good?
No. I think it's has to do with this current Olubadan's unique nature. Unique, the way, like people who have chronicled various reasons why his ascendancy is this glamorous. First Olubadan that would have ever become, that was a former governor of the state. Some are even saying, I'm not sure we have had any former governor becoming a monarch in any part of Nigeria. So that shows he is a politician. So when he's a politician is ascending such an exotic position, you expect this kind of situation. So from far and wide, his political sons and daughters, those who have benefited directly and indirectly from him, they will want to show face. They will want to lend their voice in singing his praises. He has today. Today belongs to him. So it's not out of order if we have this kind of situation. Everybody paying homage to our Oba, Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. So it has not been like this since I have been witnessing the ascendancy of our Olubadans. Like I said, it could be because he is a politician, and for instance, for a whole president to be coming to such a ceremony,
In fact, you could see many states, felicitating with him.
Even Ireland, even states that some governors, some states that were not actually directly invited, they called him that no, Daddy, Kabezi, we are coming to the program, even though you didn't invite us. You understand? I won't call those people Mugbomoya, but because of the love, everybody
just say Mugbomoya
for him. So they have all called to say, look, Baba, we are coming to your coronation, even though we were not invited. Have you ever seen such a people?
Now let's look at 81. He clocked 81 yesterday. At 81.
Yeah.
He looks so young. He doesn't look like 81. And I'm wondering if someone of 81 looks this young, he looks like maybe close to his 60s. That's the way he looks. And he's 81. And one can only pray that God should give him long life.
Yes.
Yeah, to, actually rule Ibadan peacefully and take Ibadan to the next level.
Yes. I said it earlier. I think this may have to do with part of the diet. It's part of the things somebody like me personally, I'm learning from him. Instead of eating all these junks, when you eat fresh food, you eat vegetables, you eat fruits, you don't mind whatever other people are eating. We talk about his simplicity of the attire he wears. His own food, not the food that you think is good for him. The food that he believes his father or grandfathers have been eating that make them to live long is what he eat. Because I have the privilege of knowing his father too. He died at a very ripe age. I think 90 or thereabout.
Wow.
So
we should assume he will stay till 120, 150.
Yes. So I think diet might be playing a very good role in the way you see him looking at that age, very agile, and still. Even I used to joke with some people that some senior chief under him that have not reached his age. Some of them even looks older than him. It's not to, but no, it's just we are looking at. Because it's a lesson for all of us to also learn. Baba, are you doing it? I say Ajidegbe or whatever you're using. When we want to learn from people that have been living good life, people that you know you want to also take after. You want to see the way they have lived their good life and see what you can also borrow from them. So I can only wish him long life.
All right, Honorable, now let's talk about his years, his life. On Wednesday, we treated that topic right here. And we spoke at length with people who were mentored by him, people who loved him, who were close with him, about his journey through life, which was filled with battles. Politically, his first, a few months of getting into that seat, was filled with quite a lot of things, and then, it went on and on and on for a while. The impeachment saga, amongst other things. It's not the only time that he has had issues like that all through his life. How befitting is it that, despite all those struggles, he had the chance to make a push for the crown about 4 years ago, but he refused. He didn't just go for the juggle and say, it's my turn, let me pluck it. But then he has waited. How befitting is it that he is now the fourth Olubadan of Ibadan land? The right time, under the right governor, under the right, conditions socially. How befitting is that?
When I see, reminisce, it's a journey through life. I look at him as a true Ibadan son. Ibadan was founded by warriors. When you face battles, you understand. Take for instance the issue of the impeachment, which stood his ground. Anyway, that part of that impeachment was what brought people like me into politics. They are contesting to the House of Assembly, and they asked people to support late Governor Ajimobi. That time, even Governor Ajimobi himself couldn't make it, but people like us made it to the House of Assembly under the font AMPP then. So, if you look at this Olubadan matter too, the issue of wearing crown, not wearing crown, he was the only one that stood his ground. That the high chief should not start wearing crown, and he won at the court. If not for persuasions that made him to eventually get the crown. Like the PG said, that could have been a serious legal issue. In his ascending this throne now. But thank God he eventually accepted to wear the crown. So that gave peace and gave way to his people. So I want to say that his life and times have been so fascinating to people like us and to a lot of people. And I'm sure the program you say you had, people must have talked about it because, somebody that doesn't talk too much, but you only see his impact through actions. You want to see, how is this man making it? Take for instance, when you look at him ordinarily, one will not know that he's such a brilliant man. Sometimes ago, he said he will now be teaching mathematics, physics, and probably further mathematics in his former secondary school. Look at him and say, this man, what are you looking for? So it shows it is trying to make people coming behind him to know that it's not all about being comfortable. You can sometimes, you have to, all of the time, give back to the society. You can imagine a whole monarch now going to be teaching mathematics or going to teach physics or further mathematics in his school. It can only but give inspirations to the coming generation that you can live this kind of simple life, this kind of life, impactful life. A life that people is worth emulating, that people can always see you and remember you for such legacies. So part of such legacy, which I say, what we discuss concerning Ibadan state, is what I want to believe he will want to leave behind. Honestly, I will want to believe that will be paramount in his mind. So we should expect inspirational things, ideas, policies coming from him.
Talking about expectations now, we know 2027 is coming. Yeah. And a lot of people are already looking at what could happen in Ibadan, especially the entirety of your states, Ibadan especially, talking about the build-up to 2027. What impact do you think His Imperial Majesty will have on the political sphere going into that huge election coming that we're staring at in the face? Also, economically and socially, because we can learn a lot of societal values from his life and times. And we are still celebrating them while he's still alive, which is one thing I really love about what is happening presently. But then, aside the political, sphere, what other impact do you think it can have on our social life in Ibadan?
Well, I will first of all talk about the 2027 you said. I see about Rashidi Adewolu, every political party going to him for blessings. And every aspirant for the position of governor going to him for blessings. And from the little I know about him, he will never bless anybody except he has drilled you and knows what you have in stock for the state and for Ibadan especially. What you have for the state economically, what are you trying to do for Ibadan or for your state? He has to drill you and know what you have. He has to drill you on the impacts, what the developments you are likely to bring to your state, because he had been there, and now is now like Baba said. He now is now where he is now, to look at the way you are running things. He wants to know who is capable of probably not making Oyo State to retrogress. Where Seyi Makinde has taken Oyo State now, he wants to see somebody who can move it forward, not somebody who can take us back. So I see our current Olubadan as somebody who will want that, who will want to see what programs and policies do you actually have for your state, whether economically, socially, culturally. If we want to see such a person, you have to probably distinguish yourself amongst whoever are the aspirants fighting for that position. I see him not only even in the state, even in the whole of Nigeria. So because it's now somewhere nobody can remove him, like they did during the impeachment saga. So he's now the Olubadan of Ibadan. So nobody, if he says anything, he has said it, he has said his own. Whatever you want to do, you go and do it. But I mean, he's in a position to, he's even elderly than most of the people even vying for this position. So he should be able to talk sense into you.
So what lessons can we learn from his life journey so far?
Simplicity, prudence, and this developmental mentality. He always wants development. Look at the way during his educational policy, he knows education is the key for anybody. He's 30 pupils per class, employing so many teachers that when an educated nation or an education city or state will be better for it. So we always remember him for this. Always looking for the welfare of everybody, not concentrating wealth in the hands of a few. You know, the time he was paying the salaries of workers as at when due, the 13th month salary he started, you know, everybody has been running after that, making sure that they also meet up with such various agenda. I mean, somebody who wants the good of all, not somebody who only wants a certain set of people to enjoy the perks of office. No, he wants the good of all citizens. So this is part of what we should learn from him, from his life. We want any reasonable politician, especially in this Oyo State, should ensure or endeavor to step into such shoes. That's what I can say.
Okay, so as we wrap up in this segment, gradually, I'd like you to wish the Olubadan as it comes to the throne today well, and the people of your state.
Well, the people of Oyo City, the people of Ibadan especially, who I will first congratulate for having this highly cerebral monarch coming onto the throne. I want to congratulate all of us in Ibadan for having Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. I want to congratulate him for the journey 32 years ago. It's not a joke. And because not all that joined our line were able to make it to this stage. For